Good morning. It's Thursday morning, 5:56 a.m. on a Thursday, August 21. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? This is Mr. T in northern Thailand, and we are out on our dawn walk on a Thursday morning at 5:57 a.m. And as you can see, it's a beautiful morning, and slightly overcast, but the temperature is perfect in the mid 70s, and we're gonna get this walk on just like we do every day. AC 469, hello sir. Hello sir back. How are you today and where are you calling out from, if you don't mind me asking? Good morning everybody. I just want to let you know that it's Thursday morning at 5:58 a.m. on Thursday morning, August 21st in the year 2568 on the Buddhist calendar, and in the Gregorian calendar it is the year 2025, I think. Texas. All right. Shout out to Texas. Jova Sanchez, what up, brother? How you doing? How's everything? Where you shouting out from? I've been to Texas. I've been to Dallas, Houston, and Austin. By way of Louisiana. That was back in 1994. I have some stories about that, I can tell you. Oh, wow. What a time. But then again, when you're in your early 20s, everything's a great time, right? Nomadic things, what's up, brother? How you doing? Or woman, ma'am, how you doing? How's everything? Very nice to see you this morning on a Thursday at 5:59 a.m., August 21st, 2025, or the year 2568. Texas, yeah. So I was there in 1993. No, that's what it was. It was 90. It was in 93. Or was it 94? No, it was in 94 because it was after I got out of boot camp in the Navy at Great Lakes. Mellow Man 557, I'm blessed to be alive, blessed to be here with you, blessed to be everybody who is here in the chat, and blessed with this wonderful weather and everything that is so we have to be thankful for, and to remind myself of the things and why I'm so thankful for things like being able to walk and enjoy the conversation with you guys. Melon Man, where are you shouting out from by any chance? If you feel like, oh, what's up, Macau Padai? So, what D Cup, so Wadi Lupao? I am in northern Thailand, in the province of Phayao, and that is in between two cities. One city you might have heard of, which is Chiang Mai, and the other city you might have heard of also, but less likely, is called Chiang Rai. So, we are in between those two cities. Which is basically rice farmland and mountains. Yeah, some interesting things. Feel like doing some interesting things outside of what I've been doing lately. So what I've been doing lately is video editing and stuff like that. This is not video editing. This is just chilling out with you guys. Puzza. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to guess that's Italian. Arun Sawat Sabari Lupa. So, yeah. So I've been doing some video editing. I do some history. I like to look at history and stuff like that. So I make videos on history and interpretations of history as well, because if you just read history books and stuff like that, read it word for word, you got to put the pieces together, and a lot of times they don't put the pieces together, because if they say like some event happened in some city, there are always the outlying factors and stuff like that, which don't always get mentioned, which are very important. And I appreciate you, Melon Man. I appreciate every single one of you. Believe you me, you guys are in my heart, and I super appreciate it. And it gives me motivation to keep doing the things that I need to do, which is I keep up this exercise every single day. Don't give up. Number two, negative thoughts. Get the negative thoughts out of my head. Everybody has negative thoughts at times, and like a morning like this, I just look up at the sky like this and I say, no man on this planet could possibly paint a picture more beautiful than that. And also, there is no man on this planet who has enough money. All the bars of gold, all the bars of silver, and everything like that to buy that sky. Arun sawat kontai sawadi lupao sabadi mai pom yu changwat payao kon yunai kap. Scott 74, what's up, brother? Good to see you this morning. Hope everything's going well with you and whatever you're doing. And yeah, man, we're doing this. We're keeping it going. It's like you just got to keep it going, man. It reminds me of this line. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Gladiator. Well, I thought that was a fantastic movie. It came out in the year 2000. And there's this great scene in the movie with the old man. I think it was played by Ian Fleming. Ian somebody. I forget his name. Oh, boy. But I would know his name if somebody told me. But anyway, he plays Marcus Aurelius. And he says, Rome was just an idea. And that's what everything is. Everything is just an idea, So like our reality, our perceptions of reality, and all our perceptions and stuff like that. And hopefully we can make nice perceptions and good ideas and spread the love. You know what I mean? Anyway, I did a short video yesterday on why I think. Well, the title of the video says, "Why isn't Bob Marley declared a saint?" I would have liked to have rephrased that. I suppose I can edit it. Why isn't he made a saint or something like that? Declared a saint, because a lot of people don't know this, but Sawadi dan chao arun sawat pomyu changwat payao kap Mr. Balding Unai kap Sabadi lupao. So, a lot of people don't know this, but I don't know if a lot of people don't know. I really don't know. I was interested myself to find out that Rastafari, let me backtrack this a little bit. When I was growing up, when I was 14 years old, I used to hang out in like a chess area and stuff like that. A lot of Rastafarians, or Jafakins and real Rastafarians and stuff like that. Anyway, we used to hang out. Super nice people. I had made some friends. We used to play card games and chess games and stuff like that, whatever. So my experience was a very positive experience. So I wanted to know more about it. Also, a big fan of rocksteady reggae, ska, Jamaican music from 1930 up into the early 80s when, unfortunately, Bob Marley passed away. But so anyway, the thing is I had known this for a while, but like when I did find out about it just a while ago, was that Rastafari is a Christian religion, right? And I was like, I've always been thinking about, why isn't Bob Marley made a saint? Why isn't why has he ever been like has anybody ever thought about making him a saint? Because I know for a fact. I don't know. Okay, when I say I know for a fact, this is my speculation. I speculate that more people in the world know about Sawadee Cup, Bob Marley, than Mother Teresa. It's not bad talking about Mother Teresa, anything like that, you know. That was not the cleanest of car maneuvers there. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. So, anyway, it's a Christian religion, and it follows a lot of the tenets of it, of the Christian religion. I guess there are some discrepancies, some deviations, but there are deviations in all, Roman Catholics, other Christians, and stuff like that. So, and when I say that he's more well known than Mother Teresa, I'm pretty sure that's. I don't think you could ask anybody on the age of 30 or under who Mother Teresa was, and they would know, unless they were a devout Catholic. But anyway, you could ask almost anybody now, even 30 years old, who was Bob Marley, and everybody gets a big smile on their face, and Bob Marley, man, there's a smile on their face, and just like that joy that he spread throughout the whole world, spreading love, peace, happiness, and Rastafari, and stuff like that, which was absolutely amazing. So I think, and have thought for a long time, being that he was such a spiritual Christian in his sect, right? Because Christianity has sex, Islam has sex, sects, Buddhism has sex, and stuff like that. I felt that if anybody was a viable candidate for being made a saint, for doing something to bringing to the world joy and happiness, which is a miracle, that's proof of a miracle, to me. You try making a billion people happy. Bob Marley did it, more than a billion. I think that's a miracle. So that's why. So anyway, I was in Morristown, New Jersey, and I called up the diocese in Morristown, and I said, a lady answered the phone, and she said, "Hi, how you doing?" I said, "Hi, good morning. I just have a question for you. I'm curious. Has anybody ever tried to make, or has anybody brought up Bob Marley's name when it comes to sainthood and stuff like that?" Well, surprisingly to me, the lady on the phone, she didn't know who Bob Marley was, right? Or at least it didn't register with her. But anyway, I say, yeah, Bob Marley, he's a Christian and stuff like that. He should, I think that he should be beatified and canonized and made a saint. I think that he performed a miracle in the world. I think that, this is just my personal belief and belief of hopefully a lot of other people, because joy and happiness is what it's all about in my mind. And she said, well, the way it works is like this. You have to go to the diocese where that person was, like the diocese where that person lived and stuff like that. So Bob Marley lived in, I'm going to guess Kingston. Hello. In Kingston, Jamaica or something like that. So the diocese, whatever diocese it was in Jamaica, has to bring it up to offer him to be beatified, right? And then once he's beatified, which takes I think 100 days, then he can be canonized. And once he's canonized, he's made a saint. It would be Saint Marley. And I think there's a strong case for it, Yes, sir. Love that too. Thank you very much for subbing. Much appreciated. Mr. Balding, one love, peace up. Now, another thing I'll tell you is an interesting thing, because I'm sure Mr. Balding knows about this too, is that in Thailand, I haven't seen it lately, but then again, I haven't been traveling around too much in Thailand for the last couple of years. But when I used to travel around a lot, like drive around from province to province and stuff like that, I always see the truckers, right? Truckers driving down the road and stuff like that. So I was always impressed that almost every single truck, you know what a mud flap is? A mud flap is like a piece of plastic, very industrial strength plastic, which hangs over a wheel to stop the mud from spitting up, right? So every piece, almost every single truck I saw had a mud flap, and on the left-hand side was an image of Che Guevara, and on the right-hand side was Bob Marley. And I just thought that was really amazing. Arun Sawat. I just thought that was really amazing, you know, because that makes these two guys. Now, I'm not going to get into Che Guevara, but Bob Marley, one of the most known people in all of Thailand, you know, second to Buddha and the King, and maybe some other people. But, you know, you go anywhere in the world, you can go anywhere in the world, and they will know who you can find Arun Sawat, and you will find somebody who knows who Bob Marley is. And not only will you find somebody who knows who Bob Marley is, you will find people who emulate his music, cover his music, and also other rocksteady ska reggae bands anywhere in the world. So to say that Bob Marley didn't perform a miracle doesn't make any, to me, doesn't hold water. I think that he did perform a miracle, and I think that he should be beatified and canonized and made a saint. And the world would be a better place for recognizing him for the peace and love that he spread. And that is my rant. Yeah, right? Oh, okay, so Mr. Balding, you've seen that too, right? The Che Guevara and Bob Marley. I think it's awesome. Scott74 says, it would be funny if you were the one to get it started. Well, you know, I mean, somebody's got to start it, and I don't want to. I don't really want to take any responsibility for that or anything like that, because I don't need a responsibility. I don't. I just, you know, it's just something I think. And the thing is that I think, Scott, you agree. I think you kind of agree, right? I know Balding agrees, right? You know, Balding agrees, and I'm sure Scott agrees. So all these thoughts, this is just all part of the collective consciousness of all of us on this planet. And God bless Jah Rastafari. Arun Sawat Kunlung. Sabadi Lupao. So that was my thought. I put that video out there. I don't know. I didn't do any searches to see if there are other videos out there that say. But what it does come down to is this, as far as my understanding is that the diocese that he came from has to file like the bureaucratic thing, and that has to come out of Jamaica, out of his diocese. I don't know why it would be that way, but I mean, even if he isn't beatified and canonized, I think the world still recognizes him anyway. You know, so I just kind of think that it would be more inclusive in the world to to get that kind of recognition within the Catholic Church, within the Church of Christ or Christianity, because I know he spread more joy in this world than most people. All right. Mr. Balding says he was certainly more than just music. Yeah, man, he was definitely just more than music. And, you know, and I don't know if any of you guys have seen the video. And, you know, let me know if you've seen this video. But a BBC reporter came over to interview him one time. And, you know, in his what looked like a shanty town. You know, of course, we know one of his songs says shanty town, right? And anyway, I came to interview him, right? And it looked poor all around him and everything like that. And the reporter asked him a bunch of questions and stuff like that. And then finally gets to the question. He says, Mr. Marley, you've recorded all over the world. You've performed all over the world. You are very, if not maybe the most popular and well-known musician in the world at this time. And you must have made a lot of money. What have you done with your money? Bob Marley pauses. He pauses. And he looked down. I think he was rolling a joint. But he looks down. gives it about 1 or 2 seconds. And then he looks up and he looks at the reporter dead in his eyes. And he says, money? I don't calculate my riches in money. Right? I mean, like, yo, what's up, man? Well, how do you... Money? Is that how you count your wealth? Look up that video. It's a great video. A wonderful, wonderful moment. Because it's true, too. You know, what it said is true. You know? And that clip at that time, that was back in the early, maybe late 70s. Early 80s, for sure. But I think he passed in like 1981. So anyway, I did read one thing about like it just popped up, right? Because I was like just kind of interested in things about what Bob Marley's last words were, right? And what it said was his last words were to his son, Ziggy, and he said his very last words on this planet was, "Money cannot buy life," and then he died. I don't know how many kids he had. You know, I mean, I know there was Ziggy. I know there's a daughter. I didn't really follow, you know, that in deep into it. I mean, I was more into Peter Tosh and Bob Marley and the Wailers and ska music from like the Scotalites and stuff like that, whatever. I don't know about their personal life all that much, so I really don't know. I only know about Ziggy Marley really because he's a musician also. And I think Bunny Wailer, you know. But I actually used to be sort of a musician, you know. And anyway, I got to meet a lot of the Scotalites, this band, which was like predates Bob Marley. They predate Bob Marley. I think the only original surviving member at that time was a man named Roland Alfonso, who played saxophone, and then there was Tommy McCook, who played the upright bass and stuff like that. So I met these cats. It was fantastic, wonderful, beautiful people, and all of them Christian Rastafari, you know, which is a religion of peace, which I think says a lot, you know. And they had the ITAL diet, you know, which is like basically vegetarianism and stuff like that. I mean, how can you be hating on these people? You know what I'm saying? You know. Anyway, so that's what the video I put out. If you want to check it out, you can see it on my channel. Play it. It's just like a 3 or 4 minute video or whatever, but like it's just to get the word out there, hopefully get some positive feedback and comments and stuff like that. And that's basically what it's all about. It's not the greatest video editing you'll ever see in your life or anything like that, but Rome was built on an idea, so that's just an idea. So, but speaking about musicians and money, there is one funny story. It's not funny, but it's like a strange story about a very famous musician during the 70s named, oh my God, Mark Bolan from T-Rex. Right? I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, but Mark Bolan from T-Rex, right? And he was like part of like the glam rock thing. And he's got some wonderful, wonderful tracks out there and stuff like wonderful, really, really good music. And I was a big fan of Mark Bolan and T-Rex. And I used to collect the records. Like that was back when they had vinyl records with like pictures on them. Like you could go into a record store, you get like a special edition vinyl record, which had like an image on it on the vinyl, right? And these weren't, I mean, you could play it, but probably not really meant to be played all that much because it was more of a collector's item. I had a bunch of those. I had all his record, all of T-Rex, Mark Bones, well, not all of them, but I had a nice sized collection. But this guy, Arun Swat, yeah, so sabadi lupa. But so yeah, this guy stole them from me. He stole my record collection. We're like 14, 15 years old, and I had it was like the only possession that I had. I mean, I didn't come from money. You know, I was like, this was like my like prized possession. And he said he wanted to borrow. Everybody down there, you can see the monks coming down now. He said he wanted to borrow the and make, I think tape decks were around back then and stuff like that. So he wanted to make some copies of the albums. And when I went to go collect them, he wouldn't open up his door, and he made up some reason why he didn't have to give me back his. That's what and that's what thieves like that, they got to make an excuse as to why they're robbing you. If I was a thief, I'm not, I'll be straight up. I'm robbing you because I need the money. I'm sorry. I mean, if I did rob people, I don't rob anybody. But they got to make an excuse, like, you were wearing a funny looking shirt, so that's the reason you're there. Arun swat yai sabadi lupao swati lung. Kapom, I got bodysuit, sam nap okam lang kap. Di ma gap kun mak. Hello. Arun Swat. I wasn't sure if I should go on. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, so some people that they got to make it a reason or an excuse why they're gonna rob you, right? And that's just like stupid shit, I mean, I obviously, thievery is a sin, and it's not something that any of us want to emulate. But at least tell the truth. At least tell the truth about what you're doing. I don't know. Don't accuse me of wearing a funny-looking shirt, and that's the reason you're gonna, rob me. But anyway, that's how they roll. Arun swat lung sabadi lupao. Good morning, couple. Anyway, so that's basically it about the music that I've been thinking about. There's some other things I think about. I posted some other videos yesterday. If you want to check them out on my channel. I don't really want to talk about this one because it's like a very, very sensitive topic. But I put it out there. And basically it's about 4 Americans who went to Matamoros, Mexico, and they were tortured and killed. And the liberal government at the time was Biden. It happened in 2023. And the liberal government that opened up the borders and allowed all this shit to happen knew about it, did nothing about it. And the cartel that kidnapped and tortured to death 2 of them and tortured the other 2, thank goodness they survived. They barely made the news. They barely made the news. And one of the most insulting things in the world that I thought about is that the Gulf Cartel wrote a handwritten apology note, Arun Swat, that was sent to Biden. Gumaru, good morning. How are you today? So, hey, what's up, brother Sean? How's everything? Glad to see you. Hope all is well and everything's doing well. So the 7 deadly sins, we'll get to that in a minute. But the thing is that the Gulf Cartel that was responsible for this wrote a handwritten note saying, here are 5 people who are responsible for it. They're part of like some other group or whatever. And we, the Gulf Cartel, we're very sorry about this. and it was a handwritten note. It was sent to Biden, and that was it. Case closed. Nothing was done, and you never hear about these people. These are 4 Americans. They went over across the border for a medical procedure, and they were tortured. 2 of them tortured to death. And I got news for you. Look up on it. You can look it up and see how they tortured these people. It is absolutely gruesome, grotesque, inhumane, inhuman, and everything like that. So I hope that fellow American citizens one day get to see justice done from those, done to those animals. Bring them to justice for what they did to 4 Americans who crossed over to their border for a medical procedure. The puppies are doing fantastic, and soon what's going to happen is we're going to have a training day. Their first training day is coming up. Their teeth are coming in a little bit. They're just a little bit too young to start the training, but we're going to do the forward, backward movement, lateral movement, heel, right heel, and left heel. And that's what we're going to start with. I want to see how well they respond to it, because I think that's going to be fantastic to have a very well-trained dog, and well-trained dogs, because the dog will always have your back. And dogs are very smart. They're a part of the family. They have personalities and thoughts and feelings and loyalty and stuff like that. So I think it'll be very interesting. I've always wanted to really train a dog to, from when they're puppies, train them to maybe, I don't know where it would lead to, but I just think that it's something that I'm interested in doing. So training day is coming up soon. We're definitely going to film that, and that'll be out there in a few days from now. Because I think they're about these puppies are about nearly 3 weeks old now. I don't know, and if there are any dog people out there, you can let me know how old does the dog have to be to start training. Okay, so the seven deadly sins, right? So I will attempt to name them: gluttony, sloth, promiscuity, thievery, murder, that's 5. False speech, which is lying, that's 6. And can anybody help me out? Envy, yes, thank you, brother, that's it. Number 7, envy, that right, and envy. Thank you. God bless. Vanity. Yes, absolutely, 100%. These are really bad traits, You want to chase your tail some more? Go ahead, go for it. These are terrible traits, And it's something that any thinking human being can work on. Certainly, I'm working on. I hope the movie 7. You mean 7 with Kevin Spacey? If it's that 7, I think he was. I think Kevin Spacey was in 7. Oh yes, right. So, one thing I will say about Kevin Spacey is, listen, man, I don't really care about people being gay or straight or anything like that. But I think that Kevin Spacey, his career was ruined by that whole Me Too movement or something like that, whatever movement it was, where everybody and their mother who was in the public eye was getting accused of a sex crime and stuff like that. And as it turned out, when it did come down to it, Kevin Spacey was actually innocent of charges. So his career is totally destroyed because of it. He was probably one of the best actors ever. If you ever saw The Usual Suspects and stuff like that, you mean Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman? Oh, the usual suspects. I mean, that's like just. And who is Kaizo Sose? People still say that today. Like I'm Kaizo. Who was Kaizo Sose? Kobayashi on the mug. Remember when he starts piecing it together? He's sitting. He's sitting at the hello, what's up, Mo? How you doing? How's everything doing, brother? We are in northern Thailand, and it is 6:32 in the morning on a Thursday, August 21st, year 2025 or 2568. Those are the only calendars that I know. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, who was Kaiser says, and that? So the detective, like that was like the a wonderful scene. I want to play that when I get back to my house. When he's sitting in the office, right, and Kevin Spacey leaves, and he does that thing he puts on the wristwatch, right, and like all of a sudden, like his hands straighten out, and then the detective looks over, and he looks at the mug on the shelf, and it said Kobayashi, which is like one of the things, and everything in the office like had some meaning towards the story, and then what a climactic ending that was just so classic, unbelievable. And then Kaiser Sose, who was Kevin Spacey, walks away. And the detective runs out, tries to catch him. But Kaiser Sose got away again. Yeah, right? He starts to walk normally and stuff like that, gets into a car, looking like a boss. And, I mean, as far as movies go, that was fantastic. Of course, we don't condone any violence or criminality or anything like that. But here we are at the Vista Point, and there it is. Thank goodness it's there this morning. Look at that. You can see the mist coming up off of the off the rice field. You can't see the mountains in the background, and it certainly looks like overcast and coming off the mountain range over there. But that's it, man. That's the mist coming up. Yeah, rice is looking good, man. You get two seasons a year. It takes 4 months to harvest, so I'm not exactly sure. Even though I did rice farming for like 10 years, I couldn't even tell you what month what month harvest season the harvest seasons are. Because, I mean, I was not all that involved in it, to be honest with you. It's more of my wife's thing. And now we're coming up on the east view, because that was west. And we know this is east. Why do we know this is east? Because we have that beautiful, amazing sun over there that's just over the mountains. And that's due east, headed towards Chiang Mai, over those mountains. You see those mountains back there? If you drove over those mountains, there are two mountain ranges, so you would have to drive over one, and then there's another one after it. You drive over that on whatever highway it is. I don't know the name of it, but you'd end up in Chiang Mai. And okay, thank you, baby. Gumairu, I appreciate that very much. And but anyway, look at that beautiful sun. There it is. Anyway, so let's continue on our walk as we see that beautiful sunrise, man. Something to be thankful for. So Gumairu says that November is the harvesting season. So we're in August, so September, October, November. So okay, 3 months. In 3 months, we'll see the harvest season, which is a great time. A lot of happy faces. Farmers, getting the reaping what they sow, or harvesting what they grow, and get some money for their hard work, which they deserve every bit of it, and they should get more. But anyway, that's just the way it is. Arun swat yai, sabadi lo pao. ครับผมใช่ยายผ่านเป็นเพื่อนยายผ่านนะใช่คิดว่ายายผ่านยังไม่ตื่นเจ้า So Sean Simon, yes, said hi again. Hello. We are rocking it, man. We're doing this 5 kilometer So I was saying it was 7 kilometers, but that's if like I deviate a little bit. This walk is 5 kilometers. So we're just going to do the 5 kilometers. That's like, that's good exercise. I think probably, it's like if you do that every single day, you manage to stay a little bit healthy. And that's the whole idea, I stay healthy for myself, but I also stay healthy for my wife and for the people around me and stuff like that. Because everything that we do on this earth is a collective effort given to the great powers of the universe and God and stuff like that. I just want to stop a second and take a look at this because it's a Arun Sawat. It's I want to say abandoned house, but it's not really abandoned because but the person, from my understanding, who owned it passed away years ago, and his children, or the parents' his children, Arun Sawat, there are other places, whatever. Maybe one day they'll come back and retire here or whatever. But it's just interesting because I always find like abandoned buildings and stuff like that kind of interesting, or what seems like they're abandoned. But then, not. I mean, it is abandoned. Nobody lives in it for years. I mince my words. Anyway, so. This is an epic walk. I really appreciate everybody in the chat. Shout out to all of you, making this happen. And definitely interaction in the chat is always most important, beautiful thing. And I certainly have that to be thankful for. And I will be thankful throughout the entire day for seeing Sean, Scott, for seeing Balding, Gumaru, all of you, Mohammed, all of you, I'm very happy, to see you guys. And I wish only the best things for you guys and gals out there. So may your days be filled with happiness and good health, But we still have a way to go for the walk, though. We're not done yet. Not done yet. So there's some banana trees, which is pretty cool. I always wondered, I've never really seen them ripe on the tree, but like if I was walking by and I was hungry, I'd probably just pick one. I don't think anybody, I hope not, would get upset about that. But maybe I don't know. You could, but I mean, I'm just saying I wouldn't consider that stealing. If it was like a random banana tree somewhere or something like that. But I mean, like the price of buying a single banana is like literally, it's almost free, so you could buy them at a fruit stand or something like that. Arun Swat Yai. Sabadi Lupao. All right. Yeah, so. Okay, so yeah, that's something we talk about, the soy dogs and stuff like that, right? So, soy dogs. In 25 years, I've never been bit by a dog here. Knock on wood, hope it never happens. I don't want to get bit by a dog, but I do take certain precautions, and that is sort of like being aware of a dog. Arun Sawat Kunta. Being aware. So a lot of these dogs that like what you would call soy dogs, some of them live in the streets, and some of them live with a family and stuff like that and everything, but like traditionally, like a soy dog around here, knows not to, if it wants to live very long, not to like bite, go out of their way of biting somebody. And the only time that they'll go out of their way to bite somebody is if somebody panics or is like a small child and cannot like look sort of like in control of the situation, So if you run away from a dog, that's guaranteed green light for the dog to come bite you. Arun Sawat Kunta. Sabadi Lupao. วันนี้มาออกกำลังเหรอวันนี้จะไปพิษโลกครับ So if you run from a dog, you almost guarantee yourself that you're saying to the dog that you're going to get bit. And like most dogs, if you just like, scream at them or anything, but you like a steady voice, and in Thai you would say bye, bye, like that, which means go, and like could raise your hand a little bit, and I guarantee they're gonna run away. They'll run away a couple of feet or something like that, and sometimes they'll like try to sneak up a little bit behind you, but you just give it like a little bit of a look back. You look back, Arun Sawat Yai. You just give a little bit of look back, letting them know that you know. And once you've made that kind of communication with a dog that doesn't necessarily have a family that they live with, they know, they know, they want to live, so they have a fear of punishment. So, that's what keeps a lot of dogs in line, but it also keeps a lot of humans in line too, is the fear of punishment, right? Gumairu says, too many stray dogs have been killed by food poisoning. Absolutely. It is 100% true, and it is a really tragic and sad thing. We have 2 puppies now. Sean, you've seen the videos, you've seen the dogs, and those puppies, that their mother was poisoned. And they hadn't, been alive for more than, a week? So if somebody hadn't come along, it happened to be this 5-year-old boy, who brought these puppies to me and my wife. Had they not, this 5-year-old boy, super cute kid, brought them to us, they probably wouldn't have had any milk, and they would starve, also, whatever. But Arun Sawat. So through tragedy there is triumph. The triumph of life and stuff like that, and that's something that I always keep in mind about things like, when people get like upset about something that happened in the past, right? I could use my grandfathers as an example. Both my grandfathers fought in World War II. Both of them were killed in World War II. One was killed in the London bombing raids, and the other one was killed in the Bataan Death March in the Philippines. Terrible deaths, terrible things that happened, and everything like that. And of course, this is something, war is terrible, war is hell, and all of that. But the fact of the matter is that I wouldn't be alive if they hadn't sacrificed their lives. So I have massive respect for them, obviously. But it's just weird how, like, I don't hate every Japanese person. I don't hate every German. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have time for that in my heart. There's hate don't belong in the heart. It doesn't belong anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's just sort of like, through death, there is life. So yes, this poor dog was poisoned by somebody, and it's really a horrific act, and a horrible. They die terribly, painful, and stuff like that. But her puppies got good homes, and we have 2 of them, 2 girls, Maya and Mia, and I think they're 3 weeks old now, and we're gonna start training day, like Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. We're gonna do training day, which was another fantastic movie. If you want to talk about movies, that movie was baller. Denzel Washington, one of the greatest actors of our time, if not the greatest actor of our time. But there are a lot of great actors like we said, Kevin Spacey, just to name a few, just name one of a few that escapes my mind at the time. But Ethan Hawke, yeah, he's a great actor too. He doesn't do too much though. And of course, the greatest movie of all time, which wasn't a movie, which was actually a documentary, The Matrix, because that shit was real. I swear to God, I believe it. I mean, you might think I'm crazy, but I mean, I walked out of the movie theater. I believe that. I believe, I mean, I became I really became sort of a believer, you know? And not so much like in the actual like machinations of the movie and stuff like that, but the idea of opening up your mind, because your mind is programmed. All minds are programmed by environment and by people and by all exterior factors. So we're just little programs, in biological vehicles. So at least that's what I think, and I think that's fairly well backed up by science. And what is also backed up by science is spirituality, which comes through religion and different kinds of religions and stuff. So what? Different types of things like that, which you can only get to the light once you go through the darkness, or you can only get to the light. No, you can only get out of the darkness if you get by going towards the light. Oh yeah, MK Ultra. Yeah, man, that was something else. Yeah, I know about that. You know who was in the MK Ultra program? Whitey Bulger. Arun Sawat. Whitey Bulger was in MK Ultra. The Unabomber was in MK Ultra. They did something with Charles Manson, also with the LSD thing. I don't think Manson was inside the MK Ultra facilities or anything like that. But like when you think about it, so the whole point of the MK Ultra thing was to program people to do things in the future that they would not do on their own volition. Oh yeah, 100%. Look it up, check it out. You'll be surprised. Whitey Bulger, the Unabomber, and some other famous people. I'm sorry, I just can't remember it right now. But if you look up MK Ultra, famous people who were part of the program, like the main scientist guy. I know that he supposedly jumped out of a window, but everybody knows he was pushed out of the window by the CIA. So anyway, that was a wild thing that they were doing, and that's facts, man. That's facts. That's not even a what do you call it, a conspiracy theory. This is documented facts. Scott 74 says the Manchurian candidate. Mr. Balding says that mind control. Yeah, right, exactly, mind control. So that what they want to do is to create agents who didn't know they were agents to perform assassinations. Sort of like Sirhan, right? Supposedly Sirhan, he didn't, he claimed that he was innocent, didn't know what he did or whatever. I'm not believing that, but anyway. Scott 74 then says, I follow a lot of this. Check out Coast to Coast AM. Oh, right, Coast to Coast AM. I know. That's that guy who had the radio show, right? Coast to Coast AM. Right, he had the radio show, and he had the guy who did the time travel. Is that the right one? The one with the time travel, and he did the Coast to Coast with the time traveler? Scott 74 says, I live in Montreal. Cameron, and in the 60s with the CIA here. Oh, okay, I hear you. So, yeah, CIA, I saw this thing yesterday with, it was a podcast, oh my God, it was some judge. He used to be on a panel on Fox News, but I mean, he's like super down to earth guy. Anyway, he does a talk show, but he was being interviewed by Professor Dyson, and he said basically that there are two CIAs. One CIA is the intelligence gathering branch and stuff like that, and that the other branch of the CIA is more like the deep state and stuff like that. But he did say something. So he said another thing in the interview that like when let me get this right. When President Obama, I don't know if it was, no, I don't think it was Obama. One of the presidents used the power of the force, and he said these were like CIA planes and our soldiers and stuff like that. And I disagreed with him there because I'm pretty sure that in the Constitution it says that the United States president can deploy up to 50,000 soldiers anytime, anywhere he wants to without the approval of Congress or the Senate. But anyway, that's what the judge was saying, is that this was the CIA deep state, which that's a pretty broad definition of what's going on, right? I mean, deep state, how do you define it? And then I looked on Gemini and I was like trying to get a definition of it, and it's something that Gemini, the AI search engine or whatever, says exists, right? So, but it goes through a lengthy process of defining what it is, because it can't define what it is. Gemini cannot give you a full definition what the deep state is, even though it acknowledges its existence. Anyway, folks, I want to say thank you so much for coming on this walk with me this morning. It's been fantastic. Look at the sky. It's so beautifully blue. And we have a wonderful, beautiful day. May you all have a wonderful, beautiful day. And may you be blessed with happiness and health and good health. And so for now, we're just going to say good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Uh-oh.